Hi, I welcome you all to this session. I'm Subiksha Bhaskaran. I'm a product marketer, and we have Madhumita and Vineet with me, the product expert from Zoho Books team. So I'll set a context to this session. Well, Zoho Books has come up with a deep dive webinars on every module, and the last webinar was about the banking session. And today we will delve deep into budgeting module. So, budgeting is important for a successful business. And you know what's even better? Our session is open to everyone, including your friends and family who are either a seasoned business owner or who's just starting out fresh. So, spread the word. There are multiple sessions happening. I'll share the link in the chat section below. Also, you can get update on our social handles. The agenda of this meeting would be we'll understand what is budgeting and the importance of budgeting, how you can do budgeting using Zoho Books at an organizational level and at a project level, and also to generate different kinds of reports. So, what is budget? A budget serves as a financial plan based on the targeted revenue and expenses, be it for an individual, organization, or a government within a defined time frame. And let's get into importance of budgeting, why we consider budgeting to be important, right? So in business context, it involves business owner to forecast your performance of your company, whether you're aiming to boost the revenue or reduce expenditure. Here's a breakdown of what a business budget includes. The first thing, we will compare the income and expenses. So what is this income? This includes revenue from sales of product or services, and expenses is all the cost associated with running your business. Both of these can be categorized as a fixed cost and a variable cost. So the fixed cost is the expenses that stays the same, be it like your rent, the salaries for your employee, or the insurance. And the variable cost is the expense that fluctuate depending on your activity level, like your material, the commission, and utilities. So by comparing your projected income and expenses, you can see if you're on track to achieve your financial goals. So the importance of a budget plan. First is your resource allocation. So plan to avoid overspending and ensure your essential cost is covered. Let's say you run a bakery. You know that you need flour, sugar, eggs, and other ingredients to make your delicious treats. But what about the cost of the new ovens, the marketing campaigns, or hiring an additional staff? A budget helps you to allocate resource effectively, and then you get into cost control. So you set a realistic goals, track performance, and identify and prevent unnecessary expenses. You might overspend on trendy dishes on Instagram that don't sell well, leading to wasted inventory and lost profits. And also make sure you make an informed decisions. You identify risk and opportunities to make your smart financial choices based on the accurate data. You might want to go big on your marketing campaign, and you may subscribe to every marketing software that you see advertised, leading to high expenses with limited return. And make sure you have a strategic alignment. A budget helps you to ensure your development aligns with your vision. Make sure you check your reports, be it weekly, monthly, yearly, and make sure they align to your projected numbers. And then there's come to this point of communication and collaboration. Align teams, departments, and stakeholders on your financial goals and expectation. Budgeting is essential for long-term business success, but it doesn't have to be time consuming. In Zoho Books, we have simplified into 3 steps. So let over to Madhumita here. She will lead you through a live demo showcasing on how to implement these features using Zoho Books.
Thank you, Subiksha, for giving us a brief on budgeting. Hi all, this is Madhumita, your product expert of Zoho Books. Firstly, I would like to thank you all for showing us a huge response in attending the webinar and to know the insights of budgeting feature in Zoho Books. So basically, budgeting is handled in 3 different steps. The first one would be creating a budget. The second one would be comparing your budget versus your actuals. And the third one would be finding your areas of concern so that the upcoming years are going fine. So we have 2 different types of budgeting in Zoho Books. The first one would be organization level budgeting, and the other one would be project level budgeting. So this is going to be your organization level budgeting that you'll be creating in Zoho Books, and this would be your project level budgeting. So these are the 3 reports that you'll be generating using budgets in Zoho Books. So now let's dive into our live demo. Before I could start, I would like to give a small intro on Zoho Books application. So Zoho Books is a cloud-based accounting application where you can record your day-to-day accounting transactions under any part of the world with proper internet connection with the use of any device. Here in Zoho Books, budgeting feature helps you to budget the financial plans that outline your organization's expected revenue and expenses over a specific period of time. As a business, you are expected to set targets to forecast how your business is going to perform. Either it can be increasing your income or decreasing your expenses. These targets can be called as budgets. So before I could start, I would give you a small scenario on how the business is going to run. Let's say I'm running a business called XYZ Electronics. So XYZ Electronics is a company that manufactures and sells consumer electronics such as smartphones and laptops. So this fiscal year, I would like to launch a new product. And based on the launch of the new product, I would like to budget for the upcoming periods to see how my business is going to perform. As a business owner, I'm expected to set targets to forecast how my business is going to perform. So now let's see how we can achieve this in Zoho Books. Firstly, please log into your Zoho Books organization in books.zoho.com, and in the right panel, you can see the accountant module. Under the accountant module, you'll be able to see budgets. Once you click a budget, you'll have the option to create a new budget. From here, you can give a name for the budget. So since this is an organization level based budget, we are going to do this for the entire organization. Since I'm going to enter the name as budget for the year 2024. Once the name is given, you have this reporting tags option. You can associate reporting tags to your budgets. The reporting tags in Zoho Books allows you to filter the reports based on the tags. These tags can also be given associated in items, transactions, contacts, etc. So similarly, budgets also has the option where you can use your reporting tag. So from here, let's say I'm going to give you a small example. Let's say the XYZ Electronics is located in 3 different countries. So based on the location, you would like to budget your business. So I have created this reporting tag called location. I'm going to stick to a country, which is USA. The next field that you're going to see is your fiscal year. So in Zoho Books, you can set, since the budget that we're creating is for the particular year 24, we can stick to 24, or you also have the option to forecast your budget for the upcoming years. That will give you even clear vision on how the business is performing. Or in case if you left out on budgeting for the previous years, that can also be done. So for now, I'm going to stick to 2024. And in the budget period field, we have 4 different types of periods, that is monthly, yearly, half yearly, and yearly. So I'm going to stick to monthly so that we have a clear outline of how each month is budgeted in Zoho Books. So the next section would be selecting your accounts. Here in the income account, you need to select an account for which the most of your sales transactions have been recorded in Zoho Books so that the budget is calculated accordingly. So I'm going to stick to sales. If not, if you would like to include all the accounts that you have created under chart of accounts, that can also be done by clicking select all. For now, I'm going to select sales account and click update. The same way goes to expense account. You need to select an account as per your requirement. I'm going to stick to cost of goods sold and click update. We also have the option to include asset, liability, and equity account in budget. In case if you want to include all these, you can also have the accounts included. So for example, I'm going to select a bunch of accounts so that I can show you in detail. So once the accounts is all selected, you have to create the budget. So this will be your overview page of how the budget is going to be created. As you can see, all the selected informations are already pre-filled. So from here, let me dive into how the budget is created. So you can see this is the income and expense account section, and this will be your asset, liability, equity section. So this option, add or remove account. In case if you left out on adding certain accounts that you wish to add now, you can also add it from here. So from here, you can click income or expense and add the missed out accounts and click update as well. So let me explain the three different types of filling your data in budgets. The first one would be manual. You can manually enter your data as per your requirement for each month. That can also be done. But since, as you can see, there's a lot of columns, since we have selected monthly, we do have this option by having autofill. And there's another option called refill for previous year's actual. Let me go a little deep into what are these three options. Since I've already explained manually, let's see what this pre-fill from previous year actual is, the process of this method. This one is basically where, let's say, if you wish to have your previous year's profit included in your current year's budgets, instead of you going and referring into your last year's profit balance and then manually adding it in budgets, we have this option to pre-fill your data where all your pre-filled account profit balances will be included in your current year. So here in the previous year period, you're going to select the period by which you want to have it pre-filled. So I'm going to stick to 2023. And as you can see, report basis. So profit and loss report has two types of report basis. One is your accrual and the other one is cash. So based on your report basis, you can stick to the uh, option that you would like to select, and then you can click pre-fill. Once the feature is selected, all your data that you have entered in your previous year's sales will be included here, and the left out details can be added in your columns manually. This is another option, and then third option that you're going to fill would be autofill. So across your each account that you've added, you have this option called autofill. Once the option is selected, this is the option where you're going to autofill the data. So why this is a major advantage of budget is because instead of you manually typing for all the columns, this would basically update automatically based on your requirement. So we have three types of autofill amount. Let's see the three different options. The first one would be apply fixed amount for each period. Let's say if your company is going to get rent or pay rent. So usually rent would be a fixed amount for all the periods. So I'm going to stick to $10,000. So it will automatically update for all the months. As you can see, it's been updated from Jan, Feb. The amount is going to be the same. So this is one option that you can autofill. The second one would be, I'm going to go stick to another account. The second one is adjustment amount. Let's say if you have a business that is going to see profit or expense that is like added for each month, there's going to be an add-on in the consecutive months. In that case, the first period you can stick to an amount as your current one, and the adjustment amount can be entered here. Let's say I'm going to add 5,000. In this case, as you can see, based on each month, the 5,000 adjustment amount will be added for all the consecutive months, and you can apply. The third one which you can add is, for example, let's say I'm going to add another account that I need to show you. So I'm going to another account. So from here, you can click your autofill and select your third option, which is adjustment percentage. So adjustment percentage is going to be the same as your adjustment amount. Instead of amount, you're going to stick to a certain percentage. So businesses that run based on a markup, in that case, this option will be feasible for you. So I'm going to select a percentage, and based on the percentage, your first period amount will calculate and it will add up for the consecutive months, and you can apply. So this is how you can autofill your data. As you can see, the data has been autofilled, and you can see the total income, your total expense as such. The same thing can be done for your asset, liability, and equity account as well. And I would also like to inform you that in budget, you can also pre-fill your budgets or export your budgets. In case if you have missed, in case you would not want to, you do not have data in Zoho Books for your previous years. In that case, you can pre-fill budgets. You can import your budgets from your previous year, or you can also export your budget in Excel. So let me add the data for your assets as well. So the only difference here would be instead of your first period, you have the option opening balance. So you can enter your opening balance here, and then the rest data will be added on for the consecutive months. So I'm going to select adjustment amount and let me put $2,000 as my adjustment amount. And for the next year, as you can see, there'll be an opening balance. The first month will be 1,000. I'm sorry, 10,000. And the second one would be 12, 14 extra. So you can apply. The next one, for the next accounts, as I mentioned earlier, you can select whatever autofill that you want, you can add and save. So this is how you would create your budget. So you might ask me, what is this budget mismatch adjustment field that is reflecting here? So in Zoho Books accounting, usually your total assets and your total liability should be the same amount. But in case there is a difference amount where there is a difference amount. Let's say total equity should be in total liability plus equity. Total equity. So in that case, the difference amount of your liability and equity would be reflecting here in the budget's mismatch. So this is the difference amount. Once this is done, you can save your budget. So as you can see, the system will give you a pop-up that indicates that there is a budget mismatch adjustment, which is offset of mismatch. You can save the budget from here. Once the budget is saved, this will be your overview page of your budget so that you can view your data as well. So from here, this is your profit and loss. This one is your balance sheet. And since we included your asset liability as well, you can also see your cash flow statement to see your cash in and cash out as well. And you can also edit your budget from here. You also have print option. And this field basically has the option to export your budget, and you can also clone. Clone will be useful at cases where, for instance, you want to follow the same format of budgeting that you followed last year. Instead of you creating a new one from scratch, you have the option to clone it so that it saves you a lot of time. And you also have the option to delete the budget. So this is how the budget is created. So let's dive into how view budget versus actuals looks like. So once you click the budget, your budget versus actuals report will reflect like this. This is the report. So let me go in detail. Let's say for the sales account, we've set our budget as 10,000, but the the actual transaction that was endured for the particular month was around 20,000. So in this case, the sales have been spiked a little more based comparing to your budget. That indicates the difference amount of how much profit you've seen in the company, and that is highlighted in green. So however, for instance, let's say when it comes to purchase, you have budgeted for the purchase amount is 20,000, but the expense was made for 21. In that case, there's a little spike on the extra amount that you spent, which is 1,000. So the particular amount is reflected in red, that indicates your loss. So based on this, you can do your report for every month, which gives you the comparison with budgets with actuals. So this will basically help the stakeholders or the owners to take a right decision on how to run the business. So this is basically forecasting to see how the business will run for the upcoming years. So you can be a little precautious to run the business or the launch or that you're going to make. So this is your profit and loss. The next one would be you can also see your balance sheet comparison. You can also see your cash flow statement comparison. So you can also customize your report. Here you can select the budget that you've created, and you can filter by your accounts. So as you can see, there might be, let me explain. So as you can see, there are a lot of fields that has only zero values, and it might be a little confusing when you view the report. But we have this option where you can filter by the reports with only accounts with transactions. This can give a cleared out view to only have fields that have transaction so that you are not confused with the zero values. And you also have the option to select the report basis and the monthly period and your date range. And this show and hide column basically helps you to add your columns, or if you want to remove them, you can also remove them and run the report. So as I selected the filter by with the account with transactions, you can see there are only accounts with transaction that is reflecting. So it gives you a clear vision to compare your budget versus actuals. You can also share the report to your users in the organization with specific permissions. And you also have an option to print your budget. You also have the option to export your budget report with PDF, or you can also be exported in Excel, etc. So this will be your budget versus actual report. Now that we've seen a detailed overview on what organization level budgeting is, I'm going to dive into what is project level budgeting. You might ask what is the difference and what is the advantage here. So project level budgeting, let's say we are launching an airport. Since we are running an electrical business, I'm going to launch a new airport this year, and instead of you creating a budget for the entire organization, that might create a lot of confusion. Instead, you can only create a budget for a particular product. It can be a launch, it can be anything, any project, and you can run budgeting for a particular project in Zoho Books as well. So, for example, as you can see, I have created a budget for my airport launch the upcoming year, and from here you can see this account level budgeting option. Since once the project is created, this option is where you're going to create a budget. So from here you can create a new budget and you can enter the budget name. I'm gonna stick to airport launch. And since this budget, the only difference is since the budget is created from the project, you can see the project being associated, and you can select your sales account and your expense account. If you wish to include your asset liability equity, you can have it included as well. And here you can stick to your fiscal year period and your budget period. Once this is done, you can click create your budget. So you can see there's an error that says a budget already created for this period. So in that case, you can create a budget for the upcoming years, or if you wish to have the previous budget deleted, you can also create for the present year as well. So I'm going to stick to an upcoming year for 2025 and create the budget. So once this is done, you can see the creation page as we did earlier, and it's going to be the same process that we followed for organization level budgeting. There will not be any difference. So let me just go through it again. I'm going to have a fixed amount for sales, the launch, and for to fill, I'm going to stick to adjustment amount. So this is how the adjustment amount is calculated. As you can see, as for the adjustment amount, the amount gets added on for the coming periods. So once the adjustment is all added and the budget is created, you can save the budget. So this would be your project level budgeting overview page. It's going to work the same way for your organization level, where you can view your budget versus actuals as well. As you can see, we've set our budget as sales for 10,000, and the actual sales that happened in organization for the particular project was 10,000 as well. In this case, you can see the over budget is zero, as the organization ran based on the project and the budgeting that you've set. The next month, you can see that the sales was budgeted for 11,000, but there was a hike of 3,000, that is 13,000. And you can see the excess sales that was made in the company, and it is reflected in green as the business made profit. Same way as I mentioned, like whenever your budgeted is a little higher in your expense, you can see the value in red as there's an excess expense of 2,000, which is reflected in your over budget column. So this is how you can filter out your project level budgets. You can say like, will there be any you know like um, confusion between the organization level budgeting and the project level budgeting? No, there will not be any interlink between both the reports, as they are two different, completely different things that you can follow in Zoho Books. So this would be all for your overview on budgeting in Zoho Books. I really hope the session was really informative and effective.
We have come to the end of the session. We trust that you found it valuable and informative. Thank you so much for joining us today. And the upcoming webinars will be coming lined up for every month. So I will share our Zoho Books social handle so you can follow for more updates. Thank you so much.